I am not going to talk about politics today.
So that was a lie.
We didn't argue and capitulate and talk about, well, maybe we shouldn't fight the Nazis that hard. No, they're bad. Kill them. Some liberal somewhere is going to say that sounds awful. Too bad. Get mad at me if you want to. Some folks need killing.
Yeah, that was Trump-endorsed extremist MAGA Republican and nominee for governor of North Carolina, Mark Robinson, appearing to endorse political violence in a bizarre and extensive rant he delivered this week at a church, of all places, specifically the Lake Church in White Lake, North Carolina. And in his shocking hate rant campaign speech disguised as some sort of sermon, Robinson's call for the killing of some folks
need killing,
referred to a wide range of people, from, quote, people who have evil intent to, quote, wicked people, to those doing things like, quote, torturing and murdering and raping, to socialists and communists. He also invoked those supposedly undermining America's founding ideals and leftists allegedly persecuting conservatives by canceling them and doxing them online. And as you saw there, Robinson appeared to endorse lethal violence against these unnamed enemies, particularly on the left, though he wasn't exactly clear on which folks are the ones who need killing. And as we'll see, folks, that is unfortunately just the tip of the iceberg of despicable remarks from that speech alone that I will share with you shortly. But first, allow me to give you a little more background on the deplorable human being that Mark Robinson is as a person.
Controversial MAGA, far-right, extreme, radical, hateful candidate winning the Republican nomination to run for governor in North Carolina. You may have heard a little bit about him. You're going to hear a lot more. Mark Robinson has a Trump endorsement, is a conspiracy theorist, has espoused hate, is considered by many to be far more extreme than even the raft of right-wingers who've come in under the sort of MAGA Trump era. He has compared gay Americans to, quote, maggots. He has quoted Hitler positively, including in the idea of racial pride in one's own race. That's a quote, a kind of supremacy quote. And he's made many other extreme, lying, hateful, and offensive statements.
And those are just a handful of examples of him being an absolute hateful garbage person. You also have these disgusting clips.
There's no reason anybody anywhere in America should be telling any child about transgenderism, homosexuality, any of that filth.
Robinson calling survivors of the Parkland shooting in Florida, quote, spoiled, angry, and know-it-all children.
Robinson posted that this foolishness about Hitler disarming millions of Jews and then marching them off to concentration camps is a bunch of hogwash.
Makes me sick every time I see it when I pass a church that flies that rainbow flag. I absolutely want to go back to the America where women couldn't vote.
But of course, Donald Trump called him MLK on steroids. Because every time I see that guy, the first thing you think is Martin Luther King.
Yes,
and I have a dream, and people be getting along and hand in hand and, you know, being on the mountaintop.
Yeah, Donald Trump once called him Martin Luther King on steroids.
When I said that to you, you looked like, I don't know if I like that comment. This is Martin Luther King on steroids, okay, now.
Which makes sense when you remember Martin Luther King's famous quote, "I have a dream that one day African Americans will realize they are not owed reparations, but instead owe reparations themselves."
There are some people that were talking about reparations in this country. They wanted reparations. And I remember I made this particular liberal so angry at me because I told them right to their face, nobody owes you anything for slavery. If you want to tell the truth about it, it is you who owes. It's you who owes. Why do you owe? Because somebody in those fields took stripes for you.
That guy is not naive. He's evil. I mean, what he said, that's not somebody being naive. That's insane.
And I can't play this clip because of copyright reasons, so I'll link to it down below. There is a great 4-minute video where Charlemagne the God from The Breakfast Club absolutely goes in on Mark Robinson for those comments and completely destroys him, so definitely check it out. But with all that context now in mind, let me play for you a couple of key moments from this deranged hate rant that Mark Robinson went on at church.
And you know, in a lot of ways, that's what's wrong with our country right now. We've become so highfalutin and so educated, and we got Google, so we don't need God anymore. So we've forgotten our founding ideas, forgotten who we are, forgotten the concepts that we're fighting for. And because we have, we now find ourselves struggling with people who have evil intent. You know, there's a time when we used to meet evil on the battlefield, and guess what we did to it? We killed it. We didn't quibble about it. We didn't argue about it. We didn't fight about it. We killed it. When the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor, what did? We flew to Japan. And we killed the Japanese Army and Navy. We didn't even quibble about it. I didn't start this fight. You did. You wanted to be left alone. You should have left me alone. We didn't argue and capitulate and talk about, well, maybe we shouldn't fight the Nazis that hard. No, they're bad. Kill them. Some liberal somewhere is going to say that sounds awful. Too bad. Get mad at me if you want to. Some folks need killing. It's time for somebody to say it. It's not a matter of vengeance. It's not a matter of being mean or spiteful. It's a matter of necessity. We have wicked people doing wicked things, torturing and murdering and raping. It's time to call out those guys in green and go have them handle it. Or those boys in blue and have them go handle it.
Absolute insanity, from raving that we've become so highfalutin because of the Googles that we don't need God, to saying what we did to Japan in World War II and the Nazis is what we need to do to our political opponents, outright calling for violence, including murder, and then justifying sending the army and the police after people. Really, Mark? You think that's what Jesus would do? But even that point is moot because it's not about religion for them or the tenets of Christianity. It's about fomenting right-wing extremism and using anything possible to justify their extremist beliefs, which we've already seen from other right-wing nutjobs like the head of the Heritage Foundation.
I come full circle in this response and just want to encourage you with some substance that we are in the process of the Second American Revolution, which will remain bloodless if the left allows it to be.
And as if you needed any more reason to disapprove of and dislike Mark Robinson, here is a perfect attack ad from the Democrats of North Carolina that sums up all his views pretty succinctly.
Abortion is a scourge that needs to be run out of this land. It's not your body anymore. It's y'all's body. And yes, that includes the daddy.
So many things were lost during the Civil Rights Movement. So many freedoms were lost during the Civil Rights Movement that shouldn't have been lost.
I'd love to pass a law that restricts abortion. We could pass a bill saying you can't have an abortion in North Carolina for any reason.
This little minor thing happens in January. Says, oh, rights are horrible. If there's a movement in this country that is demonic and that is full of the spirit of Antichrist, it is the transgender movement. Homosexuality, any of that filth. And yes, I called it filth. Abortion is a scourge that needs to be run out of this land.
So it is high time we get this blasphemous bullshit out of our politics. That man is directly calling for disobeying the first commandment, thou shalt not kill. So despite what people may be talking about, whether it's regard to Joe Biden's age or his debate performance, let's all hunker down and remember that this is the crap that we're fighting against in November. Thanks for watching, folks. Please drop a like, subscribe, share this video so the message gets out. And we could not be ringing these alarm bells as loud as we are without all of your support. For Really American, I'm Kenny Hesse, and I'll see you all in the next one.